here in the building in New Rochelle. My name is Rich Thomas, the former mayor of Mount Vernon. You're listening to What Happened Here. We're here every Wednesday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. on 1460 on your AM dial and worldwide on WVOX.com. Now, today, our topic is going to be one that I think everybody would like to discuss and especially keep in front of them with prices going up and gasoline going through the roof. I mean, utility bills already shocked us, literally, pun intended. But now it's going to be different items from gasoline to milk, between inflation and the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. There's a lot to be concerned about these days, especially when it comes to finances. So, our conversation today will be with a fintech leader, someone from Credit Sesame, based out of San Francisco in Silicon Valley. We're going to have one of the managers at Credit Sesame join us. We will be taking your calls throughout the show. And if you have goals, you have a vision of what you would like to do to repair your credit, strengthen your credit, have a better quality of life, this is the show and the time to ask your question. So the call-in number is 914-636-0110. Again, that phone number is 914-636-0110. We want to hear from you, especially about credit repair, credit building, wealth building. It's a tenuous time when it comes to finances because of all the different increased costs, be it you're on a fixed income or you're dealing with, taxes from the city that are really terrorizing people, especially in my beloved Mount Vernon. We got to talk about that. And maybe I'll give a few moments in a few minutes to talk about Mount Vernon because I see that in the paper today is Westchester Rising's paper. Dan Murphy shouting you out. Looking forward to talking with you about some of the issues that you raised. And happy to see that the truth continues to come out. And the one thing that I've learned is that truth outlasts lies. And lies are very difficult to maintain, which is why, as a God-fearing man myself, just do what God said. Follow the commandments, follow the scripture, and you'll never be steered wrong. But nonetheless, there's a lot wrong in Mount Vernon's finances, and this show could possibly help Mount Vernon fix its credit. As you know, the city lost its credit rating in 2019, despite every action that was taken to try and preserve the city's credit. There were people in office like Comptroller Reynolds and members of the city council that opposed the city of Mount Vernon fixing its finances when I was in office, but nonetheless, the consequences are coming home to roost, and it's a terrible consequence to pay because taxes have increased dramatically in the city. Some people believe that it's the right thing to do to increase taxes on the community. I think it's the wrong thing to do. I think that the taxes and the monies that's missing, the millions that are missing, and the millions that were mishandled, and for parties at the state level to stand idly by and watch this happen was, in my opinion, criminal because it hurt the people of Mount Vernon. It led to a variety of services being disrupted, and it put lives in jeopardy, including the police officers who deserve to have not just a contract, but they deserve to have, quality tools to use to keep them safe and the people of Mount Vernon safe. And meanwhile, taxes are going up. Where's all this money going? So, these are some of the questions that I hope get answered. I hope we get some financial transparency. I think the fees that are being charged on the community, from the garbage tax to the sewer tax, it's all junk. It's junk taxes. It's terrible to see because these prices should have been included in their already high taxes. But nonetheless, this is what happens when you don't have transparency. We should be able to see Mount Vernon's finances. We should be able to make a judgment call and a decision on what we should be investing in and toward, but no one seems to be prioritizing that transparency, even though the charter has been changed and the charter of the city requires this level of transparency. We're not getting it. So the question remains, what's going to happen? And I hope the people of Mount Vernon continue to ask questions and demand action, not just from the district attorney, but from those in City Hall, so that they can, open the books and we can all have an honest conversation about where we are and what we can do based on the facts so we can get to where we want to be, which is, a situation where Mount Vernon is affordable, not just for people that want to live there, but affordable for people that want to do business there. And seeing that we have a scenario where People inside City Hall are discounting and not even acknowledging the concerns or the feedback of members of the public, regular citizens. It's troubling to see, and it's in a word or two words, it's tone deaf. And I hope that those in office revisit their positions and hopefully go after those that receive Mount Vernon's money in an unauthorized fashion illegally, and hold them accountable, not the taxpayers. Reduce the taxes, fix the problems, make the people make the people that should pay like the bank. But that's another show. Next week we'll talk about new politics with Charlie Knapp, the former AUSA. I call that segment nap time. It's not for you to take a nap, but it's for you to wake up to what's really going on. And I believe on the line we have our guest, Shazia Virji from Credit Sesame. And again, if you want to call in, the call-in number is 914-636-0110. Again, that number is 914-636-0110. Even if you want to bring up a topic from Ukraine, last week, we had Colonel Francois on the line who talked about the dynamics. And as you see, his predictions were right. And it's only going to get worse unless America acts. But nonetheless, we have to act and act now on finances. Credit is going to be very important as we enter days of new costs, higher costs, surprise costs, pain at the pump. Oh my goodness. Shazia, welcome to What Happened Here. And what happened here with credit? What happened with finances? What can we do to straighten the situation out?
Absolutely, and thank you so much for having me.
So we know you're in San Francisco. We know you're on the West Coast. And we need your energy, and we need that good weather too. It's snowing over here in New York.
Beautiful here. It was 78 degrees yesterday, so we're really enjoying it over here.
Well, be sure to send some this way now. Just in case, if you're on a speakerphone, just be mindful that there may be a little echo. So if you can pick up the phone, that'd be a lot easier for the listeners. But I definitely look forward to learning. First, is from a financial standpoint, you can't do anything without credit. And right now, inflation is attacking everybody from businesses that are seeking to sell goods that are becoming scarce because of a tight supply chain to people looking to buy a home. Mortgage rates, thankfully, are trending down now. Refinancing is still attractive. If you have bad credit, should people visit www.creditsesame.com to start fixing their credit?
Absolutely. So having good credit is really table stakes in today's world. It's impacting key decisions, like you said, like buying a home or car, even renting an apartment in the neighborhood of your choice. And what people don't realize is that it impacts day-to-day decisions as well. Such as what kind of cell phone plan you get, or if you're going to get hired by the new company you're interviewing. It's really important to note that it's never too late to start building your credit or taking steps to improving it. And there's very simple ways to do that, even during a market like you mentioned that's quite a bit uncertain right now.
So you mentioned that there are steps that can be taken. And if somebody wanted to start improving their credit, should they first have a conversation with themselves and just say, this is going to be a hard talk that I have to be disciplined about, or should they just, do nothing? I mean, each are a choice, doing nothing versus doing something. So what should somebody do that's at this fork in the road when it comes to credit?
Yeah, so I mean, it depends on your starting point. So,
But hold on, but before we start, unfortunately, we have to enter this first break. We keeping you on the edge of your seat. Don't change that dial. You're listening to What Happened Here on WVOX. We're coming back to talk credit, talk shop. Hang in there. Don't change that dial. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. I didn't realize that you guys probably couldn't even hear Shazia talking, but I'm gonna turn up the volume in a moment. Hopefully you heard what Shazia was saying. If you can give me a signal that you heard her, that'd be great. Just want to make sure that nobody's left out. This is a great opportunity for you guys to get your credit details and your credit download. So just hang in there, hang in there. Stay on the edge of your seat. We're gonna have Shazia from Credit Sesame on in a moment to talk about what we need to do to get it done. Grab my coffee. Where's my coffee? Here it is. There we go.
Russia and Russia and Ukraine. Philip Morris is reducing manufacturing in Russia and will suspend investment.
How you guys doing? What's going on? You got any questions for Shazia? You want to open a business? You want to make a move? Post your questions here. I will definitely ask them to Shazia, who's on the line. I know. What's up, Freda? How we doing? Keep us in prayer because you know we need a lot of prayer right now. Oh my gosh. Whew. So much happening right now. Yeah, you gotta pray that this war with Ukraine is handled because it is. Woo, it's getting it's getting too close. And look at this commodity crisis and looking at this, everything is surging. And that's in Eastchester. I'm looking at Fox News in Eastchester. Um, Profiling prices of food, and it's like, yo, what are we doing here? It is intense. So let's get your credit straight. Whew. That's all I can say. Whew. And here we go. We're coming back.
Stones, former mayor of Mount Vernon, 1860 WAS.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. You're listening to WVOX, a Whitney Global Media station. We are here every Wednesday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. on 1460 on your AM dial. You're listening to What Happened Here. I'm Rich Thomas, your host, former mayor of Mount Vernon, and today's topic is credit, finances on the line. And before we went to break, you were hearing from Shazia Virji, the general manager of credit services for creditsesame.com. And she was on the brink of sharing with you steps you can take to start fixing your credit, strengthening your credit, so you can make that move to the next level. Be it you want to start a business, you want to move to a place that is your choice, or you want to simply have a good reception at places of work where you're working or want to work, because they do sometimes do these credit checks. So having good credit is definitely a way to open sesame. And when you have someone like Shazia, she knows how to help you build up that profile. And before we went to break, she was about to break it down. So we're back from break, Shazia. People are on the edge of their seat. What should they start doing to fix their credit as they look to make that next move?
Does open doors for individuals, as you mentioned. There's so many opportunities out there to get to the next financial step, but good credit is really table stakes. And it really depends on what your starting point is. So there's 44 million people in the US who have no credit history. So they're starting from the absolute step one. And so it's really important for them to find an entry point into the financial system. And that can be difficult because it's a catch-22. You need credit in order to get credit. But there's been a lot of innovation in the space by service providers like Credit Sesame to provide you with very simple options to build up your credit, even if you're starting from nothing. And so one of the ways that you can do that is through Off Sesame Cash product. And that is a debit card that helps you build your credit. And typically, you don't think of a debit card as something that would help you build your credit. But we realize that many Americans, especially millennials, are afraid of credit cards, and so they have relied on debit to make their purchases. About 50% of transactions in the US are still happening through the cash economy and through debit cards. So we really wanted to find a solution for people to continue using their everyday behavior while helping them build their credit. So we're able to take the payments that consumers are making and report them directly to the credit bureau to get them entered into their credit files and establish a profile for them with the credit.
So as people are asking questions on YouTube and Facebook, I have Credit Sesame's website up. In the Instagram, I'm going to post your info so people can reach out to your team at Credit Sesame, because what Shazia is describing is you need to develop a track record. You need to have a history to demonstrate that you're on the good path. And there are companies out there. What is it, like Equifax? What are some of the other ones, Shazia, that evaluate your patterns and give you a score? Can you talk a little bit about that? Because there are callers on the line that definitely want to talk to you because they have some questions and concerns. And I'm pretty confident that after we listen to them, you may be able to help them structure a solution to help them strengthen their credit. So I'm listening because there are people out there that don't understand this, and I just want to break it down to its most fundamental parts.
Credit bureaus, we have Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. So anytime that a lender, let's say you're applying for a credit card or for a mortgage, those issuers and lenders are going to go to the credit bureaus and say, hey, can you tell me more about the credit worthiness of this consumer? And so they'll look at your credit history, all the way from the beginning. What is your credit utilization? Are there any negative items on your credit report? They'll do a full inventory of, is it hard to lend to you? And that's the ultimate question that the lenders are trying to solve for. And
Okay.
so the bureaus will share that information. And if you don't have a credit profile, it makes it very hard for lenders to assess whether they should lend to you. And in those cases, they're likely going to decline you for that loan or credit card you're looking for.
We want to get past no. We want to get to yes. But before you can get to yes, you have to get past no. And that's why we're listening to Shazia Virji, General Manager of Credit Services for Credit Sesame, who's describing the process of what you can do to start building your credit if you don't have a credit profile to begin with. To now, we're starting to get into the meat and potatoes of it. You have these credit bureaus that give you a ranking, and they help drive the decision behind whether or not someone should lend to you for your new home, for your new venture, whatever that is. But on the line, we have somebody that's a curious mind that has a question for Shazia. I believe we have Curtis on the line. Curtis? Maybe Curtis dropped off. Maybe he got the answer he was looking for. If Curtis, oh, welcome back, welcome back. Talk to us, Curtis.
Show today.
No problem. It's my pleasure to bring the services.
Want to say shout out to Credit Sesame. We need programs like this to help people. My brother has been using it for the last 2 years, Credit Sesame, and it's helped him develop good credit habits. And because of that, he's just got pre-approved for a new home loan. So he's pretty excited. He's got pre-approved and he's excited. But I want to contribute that to the fact that I started on my credit journey about a few years ago, and then he found out about the benefits of credit. And then there's tools like Credit Sesame that helped him, that sent him that monthly notification that will let him know whether his score was improving or not. So I just want to thank the host, Shazi, for Credit Sesame. I want to thank you for bringing this topic to the fore. And the other thing I want to mention is I believe people are starting to put personal finance back in high schools. And I think that's something New York definitely needs to do.
Well, we definitely need to do that, and we're going to pick up on these topics when we come back from break. Don't change our dial. You're listening to What Happened Here on WVOX. So, everybody watching on Instagram, thank you for joining. Everybody on Facebook and YouTube, thank you for joining. Definitely looking to have a robust conversation. Thanks to our caller Curtis calling in with the validation that his family used Credit Sesame to improve their credit history and their credit score, and now they're moving further along toward accomplishing their dreams. So just I know you out there. I know you got some goals and objectives. We want to hear from you. Call in at 914-636-0110. We got a great guest on the line with a topic that is timely with costs going up and through the roof. We are at a time where we need good credit. So please don't sleep on this topic. Although it's a tough topic to talk through, know that it's a topic for you. So I look forward to hearing from you. I see you there. I see you online. And thank you for joining us. Now, in terms of pinning her contact info, I'm looking at how to do that because what I don't want to do is mess up the feed. So if somebody can tell me in the comments how to pin a comment to the top, I will do it, but I don't know how to pin it to the top on Instagram. As Yeah, I'm not all that tech friendly when it comes to Instagram or all these other platforms. I just press the buttons and hope for the best. So how do we do this? We hit no, no. Now I don't know how to pin it, so you're gonna have to forgive me. What I'll do is DM me if you want her info. Send me a DM and I will respond with her contact info so you can get her info. And I'm looking through to see how to pin. I don't know how to pin, y'all. You see, I'm not that advanced on the tech as you may have thought. Look at that. You have to give me a tutorial, so I'm gonna have to go on YouTube or ask one of my kids to teach me how to do this thing. But here we go. Oh man, situation in Ukraine is so it's terrible. I mean, like look at all the destruction for what? For what? For what? For what? These people were just living their lives, and now they're told they can't live their lives because what? All right, Supreme, I'll DM. Make sure you if you send me a DM. That way, I got you on the top of my box, and I'll make sure to reply with the Credit Sesame info. Look at that. Today's topic is credit, credit, credit. You gotta if you want it, you gotta go and get it.
OIC is proud to announce our legendary St. Patrick's celebration on Thursday, March 17th at the Mirage Restaurant and Cafe at 690 North Avenue, right here in the Rochelle. Please join those on our WPO and staffing and friends and English from noon to 5 to celebrate our live broadcast of interviews, tall tales, and tons of fun. The professional staff at the Mirage Restaurant and Cafe owner Ari Pagos, the Irish all day long.
And you there, we on commercial break. I know some of these breaks are long and they disrupt the conversation, but stay strong. We got to pay the bills so that we can have this show. So the commercials are the commercials, but this is an opportunity for you online to ask questions while we are getting closer to come back from break. So feel free to send a note, send a message, or send a DM, and I'll be more than happy to respond. But also connect you with Shazia from Credit Sesame to get it going. But I can tell you right now, my beloved Mount Vernon, whew, my beloved Mount Vernon, look at that on the front page, and we'll talk more. That's all I can say. But we coming back from break. Get ready for a good conversation about credit and steps you should take as we get closer to more uncertainty in the markets. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. And if y'all haven't heard, Radar Plus is a good group. I'm gonna have them on as a guest, and we're gonna talk about the products they have for your health. Question: what credit bureau is best to follow? I'm gonna ask that to Shazia. So just stay tuned, and here we come back from break.
With Rich Thomas, the former mayor of Mount Vernon, on 1460 WVOX.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. You're listening to WVOX, a Whitney Global Media station. My name is Rich Thomas. You're listening to What Happened Here. And today's topic that we are asking about what happened, we're asking about credit. That's our topic. Finances, credit. It's a huge building block for you to build up generational wealth. On the line, we have Shazia Virji, General Manager of Credit Services for Credit Sesame, live on 1460 on your AM dial or worldwide at WVOX.com. The call-in number is 914-636-0110. Again, that call-in number is 914-636-0110. And before we went to break, we had someone call in and talk about how they used the services of Credit Sesame to improve their credit and position themselves to seize their dreams. And online, we got questions coming in about what credit bureau is best to follow. What should you do? Well, Shazia, that's a question for you. We have people online that are actively listening and asking questions about what should they do, who should they follow, should they check out creditsesame.com to begin their journey to fix their credit?
Yeah, Credit Sesame is a really great starting point because we do give you an overview of where you stand today and provide recommendations of what you could do to improve your credit and just your overall financial well-being. That's really critical, especially in today's world and economy where your credit fundamentals are going to set you up for that future success. And so, the people who have largely avoided credit cards and other traditional credit products because they're scared of racking up debt, and also because there's just a general lack of awareness of how the credit ecosystem works, they're locked out of the credit system and they need to enter it in order to help them buy their dream home, even buy a car. It's a lot of fundamental things that people aren't able to access if they don't start focusing in on making those good decisions for their credit.
And while you're talking, I have online your website up and the example of the car. For people that are looking to get a new car, even though cost of gasoline is going up, the cost of buying a car is going up too. And if you have a credit score of, let's say, 600, you may get an interest rate of 11%, versus if your credit score is over 700, you can get an interest rate that's at 4.5%, saving you at least $7,000. Now, one of the things is that there is confusion when it comes to navigating the credit bureaus. But this is why companies like Credit Sesame have, tools, techniques, and a process to help you get along the path of improving your credit. And for the listeners that are just joining, we're talking with Shazia Virji. She's one of the credit managers at Credit Sesame, based out of San Francisco. And she's talking with us about how to help real people build credit quickly. So don't be confused. This is the show for you. Check out www.creditsesame.com, like Open Sesame. Credit Sesame has the tools and techniques for you to get along with life. Now, Shazia, costs are going up, interest rates are going up and down. What should prospective borrowers do to position themselves in, getting ready to purchase a home, refinance a home? How should they use the information from their scores? Let's say they got a download from the credit bureaus. Do your team does your team at Credit Sesame help people look at their credit reports and structure a plan to attack the issues that's reported on that credit report?
That's right. So we do have a transparent way to share with consumers what is and what isn't on their credit report. So many people actually have errors on their credit report. About 25% of consumers, there's something on there that either doesn't belong to them or has been misstated. So just getting that resolved can be a really good step in the right direction. And when we talked earlier, there is a solution through our banking product to help people improve their credit. That's just one solution. We do offer another one that helps consumers build their credit and grow their credit with a payment that they're already making today. So millions of Americans are paying their rent every month on an on-time and consistent basis. But that isn't currently included in the credit report. But we've changed that. So we partner with the credit bureaus and report those payments on behalf of the consumers so that lenders can see that, hey, this person is making consistent payments. They are responsible with their credit and really just giving them that foundation going back 24 months, showing that history. Is really critical for people to establish and grow their credit.
And that's where I think, it's about trust. And when you are looking to make a move or to build up or to buy that car or to go after getting the loan to open a business, be it online because you need working capital to purchase inventory to sell, or be it on Main Street. You need to pay the rent for that shop. You need to, pay the utility bills. Oh my goodness, let's not talk about utility bills. But you definitely need good credit to get access to capital. And you can't do that if you have bad credit or errors on your credit report. And this is where, as you mentioned, a lot of millennials in particular are, averse. They don't want to take on the risk of having debt. And for those that want to call in and discuss some issues or give a hypothetical scenario to Shazia, the call-in number is 914-636-0110. Again, that's 914-636-0110. And more questions are coming in online. One person asked, what credit bureau should they follow? You mentioned there are three. Not asking you to pick a favorite, but can you just describe what a lender does after they look at the three different credit reports?
Yeah, so lenders will look at the different attributes that the bureaus share with them. And lenders have their own proprietary underwriting system. So they'll take elements of what they, gather from the bureaus, and then they'll combine that with signals that they're getting from their existing consumer base. So it really is an equation that they're using, and they're not open to, sharing what exactly that is. But the good news is that if you work through your credit fundamentals, things like keeping your credit utilization low, making sure that you have a good account mix, all of the things that we coach with on at Credit Sesame, if you follow those things, you're able to build a better picture for yourself and present the best version of yourself when lenders are looking at your history.
And that's, an important element is for the listeners online that are asking, to cut through the clutter and cut through the confusion. This is why having a track record, something to demonstrate that you're trustworthy, be it you pay your rent on time, be it you're making your payments on using the tools available to you through a Credit Sesame. It helps demonstrate that the risk of you not paying your bill is very low. And the lower that risk, the lower the interest rate you're going to get, which means you have more money to work with and you create more options. And this is where and why, groups like Credit Sesame are so important to help you build that profile, build that strength. But when we return from break, we'll finish the conversation and talk about what you can do to improve your credit. You're listening to What Happened Here on WVOX. Don't change that dial. So what I've learned is, you got to have a program, and you got to have a disciplined approach to making sure that your credit is strong and straight. And that's why, it is confusing between Credit Karma and Credit Sesame. You need to have, your options really clear so you can go ahead and create and seize that new opportunity that you wanna create for you and your family. So it's a hard pill to swallow, especially if the circumstances that led to your credit being muddy or confusing or just plain bad. You have to do everything you can to get that corrected so you can get into a place where people can see, all right, I'm going to go after giving this person the loan. I'm going to take the risk and support them so they can go ahead and do their thing and level up, get better. But keep your questions coming. Know that we here. And right now, I'm looking at the Ukraine crisis on the news. It is terrible. I'm sorry, like it is heart wrenching. I remember, I never expected to see this happen. And the other night there was a windstorm, and it was thundering and lightning, and a tree came down, and the noise, shook up the area, and the power went out temporarily, and power came back on, and it went back out again. And, I can only imagine how frightening that is, not just for, you know, me, but my kids who, didn't really even experience a bad storm. And that storm wasn't even all that bad to begin with, but they were afraid. And I can only imagine, just go to the other side of the world and think about how afraid the kids in Ukraine are, listening to all of the bombs and the bullets flying, and people having to vacate their homes and just leave everything behind, but take only what you can carry. It's a real tragedy, and I'm very disappointed that more was not done to prevent this from happening. But this is it's important that action is taken to have people go back to their homes and rebuild and remove Putin from power in Russia, because it's only going to get worse. So I don't know what Europe's plans are, but I do hope they stand up to Putin and really just put an end to the madness. It doesn't make sense, and it's not logical, and that's where I think I'm hoping that America does you know stop hiding behind hollow words and do the work that needs to be done to defend freedom, but also stop Putin from causing so much pain and grief, not just with the people of Ukraine and the kids that he's traumatized, but to the rest of the world. It's really unnecessary to do this, and I don't understand why, but nonetheless, you know, Putin is doing it, and I'm hoping that America does, um, help put an end to that conflict, because it's terrible, 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 terrible. But we all know that this is where we are, and I'm not gonna say anything other than what I just said. So as prices increase and things get more expensive, the best thing you can do is start by having your credit straight in case you want to make a move or make a jump to make your life and your family's life better. And if you don't have your credit straight, then you're going to be in a very weak position to make a real go at seizing your dreams. And you need to have good credit to get that done. So I can only implore you to check out services like Credit Sesame, creditsesame.com, so you can build up your credit, strengthen your profile, and make your dreams come true by having command of the basic fundamentals. So in this last segment, we're going to talk. We're going to keep the line open for if you want to call, and if not, we're going to finish up the conversation and talk through some of the other dynamics that are out there, and we're going to ask about credit fraud. We're going to ask about scams. What should you do to deal with a scam if your profile has been hacked or phished? What can you do to reverse those negative impacts? But we're coming back from break, and man, I wish baseball was back up, but we'll get it going.
760 WVOX. Yeah.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to WVOX, a Whitney Global Media station. My name is Rich Thomas, the former mayor of Mount Vernon. You're listening to What Happened Here on 1460 on your AM dial or worldwide at WVOX.com. We're here every Wednesday from noon to 1. And today's question is, what happened here with credit? What happened here with finances? And on the line, we have our special guest, Shazia Virji, the General Manager of Credit Services for Credit Sesame. And before we went to break, we were talking through some dynamics. And there's one tricky dynamic that came up through a conversation online. Question about scams, phishing. What happens to your credit if somebody, impersonates you? And I hear the phone lines ringing. The phone number to call is 914-636-0110. Again, that's 914-636-0110. And Shazia, before that final caller comes in, two things. One, scams, schemes, people impersonate you, they fish and take your identity. Is there anything that people can do to protect their identity from identity theft or, schemes that ruin their credit and it's not even them?
Yeah, identity theft is certainly very real, and there's steps that people can take to monitor as well as protect their credit. Because once you have great credit, you want to maintain that. They don't want to see big fluctuations, which can happen if someone reviews your credit. They get a hold of your credit card number, or if they steal your credit card, that can have very negative impacts and long-term negative impacts. So it's really important to stay on top of your credit. You can check your credit report and your credit score through services like Credit Sesame, and make sure that everything looks accurate and that it's actually you that's opening up these cards or loans, and you can see all of that on the track history that you have for your credit report. So first of all, just monitoring it is really important. And if something does happen to your identity, there are services you can work with us, and we can help you figure out how to work with the bureaus to make sure that those items are removed from your credit report so that everything on there is an accurate representation of you and your credit worthiness.
So people, with all the cyber crimes and attacks that are happening, you definitely want to check your password. You want to make sure that your identity is protected. Take the steps to protect your digital identity. Check out Credit Sesame and don't play, because if somebody opens, the door to your finances and they start raiding your personal, work, oh man, there may be limited options to get it back, especially in this climate. So definitely take this for real. I heard we have a caller on the line. I think the caller may have dropped, but we'll see if we can patch him in, see if the caller's still on the line. Nope. Okay, okay. We're working on getting the caller back. We heard, this caller call in. I think you were addressing their question, Shazia, because people are definitely getting all sorts of phone calls saying that they're okay. We got a call on the line. We're running down on time, but I want to make sure we have enough room to hear you through. Oh, Shazia. Hey, welcome back, Shazia. Hey, welcome back. I think we lost you there for a moment, but there were some comments that came in online that asked about how they get these phone calls or these text messages saying that their credit limit has been exposed, or they have to take steps to fix a bank account that they have, but it comes from some random number, not their bank. You know, People should be aware of these scams and schemes and look at tools like creditsesame.com and the techniques they have to make sure that you're not falling victim to these cyber crimes, because identity theft is real. And as we go back and just recount the ways, there are lots of people out there that are not banking properly. And Credit Sesame, you have a product that deals with banking to build up credit. Is that right?
That's correct. So there's multiple ways to make sure you're staying on top of your credit and that you're building it for your future and your short-term success. So the banking product is certainly one where you can use the cash you have today to build your credit, so you're not taking on that additional debt. You can also report your bank payments through us. So we can verify, collect, and share that with the credit bureau. So you're getting credit for all the payments that you're already making on a monthly basis. So those are just two of the ways. And again, just general awareness of your credit is key. So making sure that you understand your credit issues and how it impacts your financial wellness. That's something that, you can get access to through Credit Sesame.
And it's credit's not just for people that are early in their life, like millennials. Good credit is also good for people that are looking to retire. There are lots of people seeking to move, be it around the country or move to a different climate. If they're going to rent a house or buy a house, you're looking to make that move living on a fixed income, you need good credit. So don't think for 1 second that just because we've spoken about people that have a different set of ambitions in a different point in their life. This is for you too, and just know that it's a good idea, especially if you're in your golden years, to take a careful look at your finances, take a careful look at your credit report and your credit history, because you don't want to have a surprise that somebody's opening a credit card in your name, and then all of a sudden they're coming for your Medicare or Medicaid, or they're coming for something that doesn't belong to them, especially your money. Now, Shazia, I thank you for joining us and providing some much important awareness at a time when gas is going through the roof. I'm pretty sure in California, the gas in your area is how much a gallon?
It's about $6.
Oh, Lord.
It's a lot.
Yeah, you can keep that on the West Coast with the great weather. Oh, my goodness. Well, the good thing is, you know, we're not going to get into geopolitical politics, but I will say that the information given here today is critical for people to get in position to strengthen their credit, get financially balanced so they can become more well positioned to seize their dreams. Any final thoughts or any final words that we did not cover during the discussion today? We covered a lot of ground, some things that some people never heard of, and I appreciate everybody, tuning in and dialing in. But final thoughts, Shazia.
About inflation really impacting people's wallets at the moment. There's certainly ways to combat that through being really smart about your savings and your credit. And the example we talked about earlier, buying a car, you can save thousands of dollars if you can qualify for a really good interest rate. And that's it for any financial product that you're getting out there in the world today. And so it's really important to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success before taking that application and going through those steps.
Well, these are the steps you have to take to make sure that your credit is in the right place to go get your dreams. They're out there waiting for you, and inflation is going to continue to attack your bottom line and try and take away the value that you've created. But that's why Credit Sesame and creditsesame.com is available to you with all the tools that they have, from identity theft protection to credit building tools like the Credit Sesame Cash. And my wife is watching right now. She just joined in on Instagram Live. Hello, Cherish. How you doing? Credit Sesame. Don't forget to check out the website, everybody. But thank you, Shazia, for joining us. It's been a pleasure to talk with you. And if people needed to find you, what should they do? How should they get in contact with you and your team at Credit Sesame?
Yeah, creditsesame.com, as you mentioned. You can find us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, at Credit Sesame.
You heard it, everybody. At Credit Sesame, IG, Facebook, Twitter. Don't be afraid to use those thumbs to connect with them from your phone or from your computer. Thank you, Shazia, for joining. We look forward to following up with you to share some more journeys on getting credit ready and staying ahead of all the things out there to make sure we get people ready to go get their dreams.
Great. Thank you so much for having me.
You got it. Everybody, that's been our show today. What happened here with credit, with finances. You've listened to WVOX at Whitney Global Media Station. We'll see you next week, Wednesday, when we talk about new politics with Charlie Knapp, former AUSA, former Inspector General Mount Vernon. Looking forward to talking to you next week. Take care.